Here's who I'm talking to, just so everybody understands. It'll probably get confusing. My goal is to speak in front of a spot, either young, or use the word young, but newer supervisors, managers, that, think of somebody that just got a job at Best Buy, and they just got promoted to assistant manager, they just got promoted to manager. Well, they don't teach you what to do when you have people screaming at one another.
Sure.
So that it's more the soft skills, the people skills side of it, critical interpersonal skills, I would call it. So that's who I'm speaking to.
Okay. Great. Please join me in welcoming Mike Burke. Mike is the founder of Leadership in the Real World. He spends his days helping frontline managers and supervisors figure out what to do when they don't know what to do. Mike draws on his 27 years of experience as a frontline leader to help his students achieve their career goals, personal goals, and financial goals. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Burke.
Well, thank you, Kevin. What's important to you right now as it pertains to your career? Is earning more responsibility important to you? How about being seen as the go-to person? The one that everybody looks to when there's a challenge or a problem, because they know you can not only fix the problem, but turn it into an opportunity that will work for everyone, not just one person or one department. How about this? How about having more time for your personal ambitions? We're not on this earth to work 24/7. You deserve a personal life. Now, along those lines, do you want to have the skills so you can actually go on vacation or go to a meeting for that matter and not be worried about, oh my goodness, what's going on at work? It's going to be a nightmare when I get back. Has that ever happened?
Yeah.
You ever feel guilty actually going on vacation?
Yeah.
Well, that's no way to live, right? Who needs that? Now, how about this? How about making somebody proud of you? For me, it was always my mom. I used to love saying, hey mom, I just got promoted. I'm now the customer service manager. Hey mom, I just got promoted. Now I'm the sales manager. I'd see her smile and tell her friends. Made me feel great. How about you? Is there somebody that you want to make proud of you? Finally, what about the financial benefits of being one of your company's top line leaders in your organization? Is that important to you? Now that's all the good stuff, right? That's all the stuff that we aspire to as leaders. But why don't everybody get to that level? Why isn't everyone a top leader? Well, because it's difficult. You need a certain skill set to get there. So today we're going to be talking about 3 specific core competencies that you can use to get yourself to become one of your company's top leaders. Number 1, composure. Have you ever gone to somebody that you really needed help from, and when you went to them, they maybe give you a sarcastic answer?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that make you feel? How about maybe giving you yes or no answers or turning their back on you when you really needed their help? Now finally, have they ever maybe snapped at you or lost their composure on you? Now, let's face it, as leaders, we're judged fairly or unfairly, but the fact is we're judged on how we react to difficult situations and how we maintain our composure during those difficult situations. Done. That was it. That's it.
So I start again?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll answer. This is the Kelly Show. This is a Kelly Show. All right. So, you do a masterful job of what we call the U factor. The more as speakers we can make it about them as the audience, the more they will love us. So it's a little counterintuitive, but the way you came out and asked those questions and asked us to, and the audience that you'll be speaking to think about those things, that was really masterfully done. The other thing that you did, I thought, that we could all learn from is the pausing that you did. It's impolite if I ask you a question and then keep talking, but the same is true like with an audience too. If we ask them a question, give them a moment to think about their answers.
And it's hard because
And
you
it
want to
is
fill,
so
you want to fill the vacuum.
You do. We have
Yeah.
trouble with silence.
Yeah.
And as leaders, we have trouble with doing it,
Yeah.
so that's another thing too. But you did a nice job of pausing. You could even make it a little longer, and I know how hard that is, but I want to commend you on that. You asked a lot of questions, and then you start and transitioned into, I'm going to give you 3 things, nice and easy to follow. I wanted to hear more. I don't know if other folks felt like that, so you had us hanging on there. One thing that I would, after you got into the composure, you started asking more questions again. So one thing you might want to consider doing is switching it up a bit.
Okay.
So when you're asking so many questions and you already get us thinking about that,
Just go in the training.
go in
more.
a different,
Yeah.
so maybe, it might have been a good time for a story. Maybe the first time that you learned this lesson about composure, or how you learned it, or who taught it to you.
Yeah. And that's where I was transitioning to my story of the strike and all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's just a technique to
Yeah.
just.
So it was too much of asking questions.
Yeah.
I felt that way as I was doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's just a good technique is to switch things up, to get other parts of the brain working and
Yeah.
and to.
No, that's
To
fair.
people that like to hear stories, and just switching it up.
Okay.
Just like in Hollywood, they change camera angles every several seconds, a few seconds. It's kind of doing that mentally for us, it's just switching the camera angle.
Thank you.
Good point. Good point. I wrote down composure and I was ready to write down the rest. I love the questions. I know being conversational is something that's a concern for you. I thought it was very conversational, so it was a very natural feel to it. I watch your fillers.
Okay.
I don't know if that's I
It's a
can't remember
problem
that being
for me.
a challenge
No, it
before,
is.
but right and was, it's kind of like, you ever had this problem right? Or,
I'll watch
right?
it.
So
Yeah, I
just
don't
a
even
cou-
realize I'm doing it.
that we rarely do with their fillers, right? So just watch them, because that was only like a 3.5 minute talk.
Yep.
And I know you've been working on those little subsets, but so there were a lot for that short period of time.
Okay.
And
I'll go
I
through
think
and watch
it's really just a matter of maybe use that as an opportunity to pause. And, once
Yeah.
you're a little bit more.
Maybe I fill the space with that.
Could be.
Okay.
And I think you were at a great jumping off point to start into the strike story.
Yeah,
So
that's the goal.
That's the story, that's the composure story of all composure stories,
Yeah.
right? So I think that would be a really good transition. And I would love for this group to hear that in its totality. So to
Okay.
maybe take that, I don't know, is that what are you talking?
Yeah, I go
showcase?
right after that with composure. I
Okay.
use that story.
Yeah. I think that would be a good one to see where the group says to pull out different pieces.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I
Yeah,
would challenge
we'll
you
shorten
with
it up,
next time. Yeah, well done.
What factor, like when you mentioned about asking someone, they turned their back on you, maybe demonstrate that. Use your body language to, yeah, something like that.
That's a good idea.
So Mike, I liked your interrogative opening. I like that you had questions. My thought was possibly simplifying across to maybe 3 resonant ones so that they really have time to think about what you want. Because I like how you went from a very practical set of questions about what's important to you in your career right now. I'm surprised you didn't ask them, especially if they're first-time managers, more money. But beyond more money, it's something other than that, right? And I like the heartstrings. Who do you want to make proud of you? Like that's just a meaningful thought process to have, to start evoking. So how do you get to there? I did pick up one grammatical, why doesn't. I'm still going to be grammatical.
Yeah, I messed
almost
that
every
up.
time you find me. And then I agree with Kelly on the idea of the flow switcher. That's what it is when you're a rapper and you start rapping at a different pace.
So that closer.
But especially as you go into your 4 points, because obviously went into my outline mode, ready to get all 4 of them. But consider, since you've been giving them questions about what they want, here's 4 things that I can help you with today to get to those places, right? And then,
Good point, yeah, I like that.
so in that segue, if you think about, composure, here's a dictionary definition of what the thing is. Let me tell you how composure helped me in my life. And I remember your strike story, so
Yeah,
especially you get the guy with the face in the picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
Win it.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to start this to kind of segue into that and get people kind of drawn in. So, but that's good, thank you.
But yeah, altogether, it's a good preamble. I was like, this time's not up. You know when you get 2 more points in.
Leave them wanting more.
Yes. I agree with the comments of others. I thought it was a really good setup for those 3 components that you had coming in. I was all set too. I was ready to go there. So it was a really good setup. I appreciate it. And great eye contact with the audience.
That's what I've been working on too.
Yeah.
Been working on it.
Mike, I don't have too much more to add without getting redundant, but I found you to be very engaging. It really drew me in, and I really like that. So I thought you did a great job, and my other comments will be very similar to what others have said, but I'm anxious to hear the whole speech.
Okay,
So very good.
thank you.
Tough to go further down,
Yeah.
but I vote for listening to the other 6.5 minutes as well. I really
Okay.
would like to hear the rest. Sorry, you left me wanting more, which is what you want exactly. I liked how you drew them in with those qualifying questions in the beginning, and then said, these are the top leader benefits, and let me show you how to get. I'm going to cover 3 things today, and you got right into that. I agree. Go ahead and get into your teaching mode
Yeah.
without more questions. So you're going to
Yeah.
change that. What I really like, delivery-wise, I noticed your eye contact. I didn't know you were working on it, but I thought it was really good. And when you physically rubbed your face to just go through with them what it's like to leave work for a while for a meeting or vacation and come back to think, I was with you that whole time because you were physically going through what am I going to get when I get back from, gosh, I'm taking a long weekend, but I'm going to have to pay for this, or I'm going to a manager's meeting, but, did the apartment burn up while I was gone? Just whatever might happen. I really liked how you physically got into that and took a moment, because that's helpful. It wasn't a pregnant pause with no words, but you were drawing us in without your words necessarily, just by your physical
Okay,
actions. I like
thank
it.
you. Laura Kay.
Well, yeah, everyone said everything I've written down.
Ditto.
One exclusion. You look fabulous.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
you've
you.
lost weight. I was
Not
gonna
We're
say,
working on that.
that's
Yeah.
not like the thing to say, but
Yeah, your clothing though, it's very sharp. You've always been a sharp dresser, but the way you have it all put together, you look very established and like somebody right off the bat. I want to hear what you have to say as an expert. So you look fantastic. I will say that Doten doesn't think it really like blared out for me.
Yeah,
And
I don't know
knew
how
better,
that happened.
Yeah, but it happens. So it's a good thing I'm not there spelling, or else I'd be in a lot of trouble. So.
Yeah.
But I thought you were fantastic. Oh, and the conversational thing. I really felt like we were having a conversation,
We were talking.
and that you weren't talking. There was no one else in the room but me and you, and it was really engaging.
What I've been doing, I'm going to acting class at the Alliance Theater twice a week, and I've been using this, and my coach, acting coach, is like, stop, because you're like, do you do this? And he stops me and stops me and stops. And then what he's doing is, I have to ask one person those questions, and they have to respond to me. And then you kind of get it in your mind, them responding to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's been pretty cool.
Okay.
That is great.
Good.
Yeah.
I think
Thank
maybe
you.
you should read
Excellent.
some
Good job.